He promised to modernize the Conservative Party, fix Britain's economy, and bring the country together. But one decision changed everything and divided the nation for years to come. Who is David Cameron? How did he rise to power? And how did his gamble reshape Britain's future? Let's find out. David William Donald Cameron was born on October 9, 1966, in London, into a wealthy and well-connected family. From the very beginning, Cameron's background opened doors that would help him later in life. His family had deep roots in Britain's upper class. His father was a successful stockbroker, and there were links to the royal family and old aristocracy. Growing up, Cameron never had to worry about money, but he did have to live up to high expectations. For his education, he went to Eton College, which is probably Britain's most famous and exclusive private school. Eton has produced many prime ministers, royals, and top politicians. While there, Cameron built the confidence, network, and style that would later shape his image as a modern but traditional conservative. After Eton, he went on to Oxford University, where he studied philosophy, politics, and economics, or PP, a famous degree for people who want to go into politics. At Oxford, Cameron was known for his intelligence, charm, and his ability to fit in with influential circles. He made friends and contacts that would help him for decades to come. Outside his studies, Cameron enjoyed the social life at Oxford. He joined clubs, debated politics, and showed the easy confidence that made people believe he would go far. After university, Cameron didn't jump straight into Parliament. Instead, he first worked as a special advisor in the Conservative government of the early 1990s. This job gave him a front-row seat to how real politics worked, from writing speeches to helping senior ministers make tough decisions. Later, he left politics for a short while and worked at a TV company, Carlton Communications, in corporate PR and strategy. But politics was always his true goal. He knew that sooner or later, he would run for Parliament and aim for the top. With his privileged background, elite education, and experience behind the scenes, David Cameron was perfectly placed to become the kind of modern conservative leader who could connect Britain's traditional ruling class with a new generation of voters. In 2001, David Cameron finally entered Parliament. He became the MP for Witney, a safe conservative seat in Oxfordshire. Right from the start, people noticed his calm style, good speaking skills, and modern image. He was young, confident, and understood how the media worked. All qualities the Conservative Party needed badly at the time. Back then, the Conservatives, also called the Tories, were struggling. They had lost 3 general elections in a row to Tony Blair's New Labour. Many people saw the party as old-fashioned, harsh, and out of touch with modern Britain. Some even called it the nasty party. Inside the party, younger MPs and modernizers believed that the Tories needed a fresh face, someone who could change their image and reach new voters, especially younger people and families who felt Blair's Labour no longer spoke for them. Just 4 years after becoming an MP, in 2005, David Cameron ran for party leader. He campaigned as the man who could bring a new, modern style to the Conservatives. He gave a confident speech without notes at the party conference, a bold move that impressed many people. His relaxed style and positive message won him strong support. When he won, Cameron promised to lead the party in a new direction. He talked about making the Tories more compassionate, more caring about social issues, and more focused on things like the environment, which older Conservatives hadn't always cared about. He wanted the party to look greener, friendlier, and more in touch with modern life. He called this new vision compassionate conservatism. Under Cameron, the party spoke about supporting families, fighting poverty, caring about climate change, and giving people more responsibility and opportunity. His big goal was to show voters that the Conservatives were no longer stuck in the past. He wanted people to see the party as modern, open-minded, and ready to lead Britain into the future. Not just a party for the rich or the old. David Cameron's rise was quick, but it showed how strongly the party wanted change. He promised to take the Conservatives back into power by convincing the country that they were no longer the party people used to fear or dislike. In the 2010 general election, the Conservative Party under David Cameron won the most seats in Parliament, but they didn't get enough seats for a clear majority. Britain had what's called a hung parliament, where no single party has complete control. For Cameron, this was a test of his leadership and his promise to bring a new, modern style to politics. Instead of trying to run a weak minority government, he made a bold move. He reached out to the Liberal Democrats, a smaller centrist party led by Nick Clegg. After days of tough negotiations, Cameron and Clegg struck a historic deal. They formed Britain's first coalition government since World War II. It was a big moment in British politics. Two different parties with different ideas, agreeing to govern together to bring stability in difficult times. As part of the deal, Nick Clegg became the Deputy Prime Minister, while Cameron took the top job. At just 43 years old, David Cameron became Britain's youngest Prime Minister in nearly 200 years, since Lord Liverpool in the early 1800s. The timing was not easy. The global financial crisis of 2008 had left Britain's economy in bad shape. The government had big debts, unemployment was rising, and many people were worried about the future. Cameron's mission was clear but difficult. Fix Britain's economy, reduce the huge deficit, and restore confidence. He promised a mix of spending cuts and new policies to balance the books, all while trying to protect essential services like the NHS and schools. At the same time, the coalition government promised a new, fairer politics, more open, more cooperative, and less divisive than what people were used to. For a while, the partnership between Cameron and Clegg looked like a fresh start for Britain. The coalition years would test Cameron's ability to lead, compromise, and keep both his own party and the Liberal Democrats working together through tough economic decisions. Cameron's government focused on austerity, cutting public spending to reduce Britain's massive deficit. Supporters said tough choices were needed to save the economy. Critics argued that austerity hurt the poorest and deepened inequality. Despite controversies, the coalition government legalized same-sex marriage in England and Wales, one of Cameron's proudest achievements. In 2015, David Cameron went back to the country for another general election. Many people thought the result would be another hung parliament, another coalition, maybe even more deals and compromises. But in a surprise result, Cameron and the Conservatives won an outright majority. This meant they didn't need the Liberal Democrats anymore. The coalition was over. Cameron could now govern alone, with full control of the government and Parliament. Winning a majority was a huge personal victory for Cameron. It showed that his plan to modernize the Conservatives had worked, at least at the ballot box. But with this win came a promise he had made to keep his party together. For years, the European Union had divided the Conservative Party. Many Conservative MPs and voters were deeply suspicious of Britain's EU membership. They believed the EU took away British sovereignty and made too many rules. To silence these critics and to stop the growing popularity of the UK Independence Party, UKIP, a party that wanted Britain to leave the EU, Cameron had promised a simple but risky solution. He would give the British people a referendum on whether to stay in the European Union or leave it. He hoped that by giving people a direct vote, he would settle the argument once and for all. He believed that most people would choose to remain in the EU, and that this would calm the Eurosceptics in his own party and defeat UKIP's main message. But this gamble would become the defining moment of Cameron's entire time as Prime Minister. It would not just shape his career. It would split the country, divide communities and families, and dominate British politics for years to come. At the time, Cameron thought the referendum was the best way to protect party unity and keep Britain strong in Europe. But in trying to solve one problem, he opened the door to one of the biggest political earthquakes in modern British history. After leaving office, David Cameron largely stepped back from frontline politics. He published his memoir, for the record, defending his legacy and explaining his regrets over Brexit. In 2021, he faced fresh controversy over lobbying for a finance company. A reminder that for many, his time in politics remains linked to privilege and scandal. To some, David Cameron modernized the Conservatives, legalized same-sex marriage, and helped pull Britain's economy back from crisis. To others, he's the PM who gambled Britain's future on a referendum he didn't need to call, leaving the country divided and uncertain for years. Whether you see him as a modernizer or a reckless risk-taker, his legacy is undeniable. David Cameron once promised to fix broken Britain. But in the end, did he break it even more? What do you think? Was he a reformer? Or did he gamble away Britain's unity? Tell us in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more political deep dives, and ring the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!